All right, let's call this meeting to order. We're going to have the invocation by the Honorable Jimmy Strickland.
Most gracious and heavenly Father, we come to you just thanking you for allowing us to come here. Lord, we thank you for keeping your hedge of protection over this community, over each and every one that's here. Lord, we pray that you give us discernment to make the right decisions, that you will allow us to think and trust that you will order our steps, that everything we do will be according to your will and not our own, Lord. We ask that you bless us, guide us, and let this meeting be productive, and that you get the glory for everything we do. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 We have the pledge by the Honorable Patrick.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Smith? Here. Mr. Rowling? Ms. Casabon? Here. Ms. Seiden? Here. Mr. Phillips? Here. Ms. Tanner? Here. Mr. Impastato?
Here.
Mr. Burke? Here. Mr. Kugel? Here. Ms. O'Brien? Here. Mr. Laughlin? Here. Mr. Bender? Here. Mr. Corbin? Here. And Mr. Strickland? Here. We have a quorum.
Okay, public comment. A 3-minute time limit is established for each member of the public wishing to speak for or against an item on the agenda. To ensure that all speakers are heard, please hold cheers and applause. Anyone who wishes to place a comment in the record but who does not wish to speak at the podium may fill out a speaker card and check the box indicated they do not wish to speak. Comment cards at the table in the front. Special meeting. The first item, ordinance for adoption, ordinance calendar 7885AA, ordinance levying a decreased millage rate for the year 2025 for drainage, maintenance, and Coast Stark. Ms. Tanner, you have a motion to introduce? To get it on the floor?
I have a motion, yes.
Side second?
Motion, second.
We have some speakers. We're just getting it on the floor.
It's already introduced.
So sorry. We have some speakers that would like to speak.
I don't.
Good evening. I'm Amy Kudell with the St. Tammany Council on Aging. Good evening, council members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. I want to briefly address the proposed changes to Coast millage funding and the impact on our operations for fiscal year 2026, which for us begins next week on Tuesday. Our proposed budget reflects a reduction in millage funding to $2.4 million for our portion. While we appreciate a modest increase in our Governor's Office of Elderly Affairs funding, which is about $28,000 for next year, and the continuation of our transportation contract, rising costs, especially in insurance, software, and meal expenses, continue to strain our budgets. Approximately 70% of Coast's budget depends directly on parish-provided funds, either through the millage or our transportation contract. That level of support is essential to our ability to serve. Even if the millage rate had remained at last year's 1.69 mils, cost increases would still require minor cuts. In light of the proposed decrease, we have budgeted deeper reductions to offset the resulting loss in revenue. These changes come at a time when the need for our services is increasing. The senior population in St. Tammany Parish is growing rapidly. Nearly 25% of residents are over the age of 60. This age group has grown faster than any other group in the past decade. With total parish population expected to exceed 280,000 this year, the number of older adults is steadily rising. As this trend continues, so does the demand for Coast services. In the past year, we've taken steps to reduce costs. These include reduced staff headcount and outsourcing certain positions and eliminating the Sitter Companion program. These actions aim to reduce expenses and position us to better support staff compensation. Unfortunately, further funding reductions prevent us from implementing needed raises. In our proposed fiscal year 2026 budget, we've made difficult decisions to align our services with available resources, including ending the seasonal chore program after October, reducing 23,000 meals, both home delivered and in congregate settings. We will cut over 450 medical alert units, and we will reduce personal care and respite services by 700 hours. These services support clients or their caregivers with tasks related to activities of daily living, including eating, dressing, bathing, toileting, transferring, or walking. We hope to implement most of these changes through attrition, meaning we will not fill openings as clients discontinue the services. As a result, wait lists will grow. and we may be unable to accept new clients across many service lines. If attrition is not enough, we'll reduce services for current clients, prioritizing those with the greatest needs using the Louisiana Independent Living Assessment scores. If attrition, I'm sorry, I read that. We are also reviewing our transportation services for possible savings while minimizing the impact on those who rely on this service the most. These are not decisions any of us take lightly. Each program provides meaningful support to the seniors of our parish, but as our aging population grows and expenses increase, we are all compelled to act. We remain dedicated to serving our seniors with compassion, integrity, and transparency, and to being good stewards of the public resources entrusted to us. We value deeply the partnership we've built with the parish and appreciate your trust. Whatever millage level is approved, we will adapt and continue delivering services to the best of our ability. Thank you again for your time and continued support.
Thank you. Mr. Bayham, did you want to speak?
Hi there. Mark Bayham, Director at Stark of Louisiana. Appreciate a few minutes to come talk to you. 53 years we've been operating in St. Tammany Parish, currently serving over 500 individuals with developmental disabilities. We do that through a variety of programs and services which make a meaningful impact on our families. There's no cure for the population we serve, so we often have them for the duration of their life. We have over 200 employees. We still have many open positions, even with that many employees, causing us to use contract labor at a very high rate. Our millage on average makes up about 25% of our budget, so we have several other funding sources and stretch every dollar to fund our programs. Mr. Chairman, we sent a letter at the last meeting showing that we would support the council's decision in this matter, and we would make it work, but it would likely mean some cuts. So you asked me to come and explain what that would be. Although we wouldn't cut any specific service because we feel that would be a disservice to our families, we would have to look at some other things. The main thing would be a rate study. We pay $12 an hour as our starting rate, which just isn't enough for what we're asking people to do, to care for people with special needs. I had a young man have a massive heart attack in an event a couple weeks ago, and I have $12 an hour staff down there giving CPR mouth to mouth because they care, they want to make sure our people are okay. I want to get those wages up. Tia Friel, our outsourced CFO through Taylor and Willis here, her and I have worked diligently on a rate study to be able to do that. So the one impact would be we would have to put that on hold. I want to read this quick testimonial from a parent. My family worked with 2 providers, a nursing agency in Stark. When I suspected a nurse's drug use, the agency admitted they did not require pre-employment drug screening. Later, I discovered this nurse made a dangerous mistake, placing Caesar medication in the wrong part of his feeding tube. It could have jeopardized his health. Stark offers peace of mind, requiring drug screening to protect individuals like my son. Their commitment is life-saving and reflects what care should be: safe, dignified, and unwavering in its compassion. For families like mine, Stark isn't just an option, it's a lifeline. I have many other testimonials, but I wanted to speak on this one because it's another example of how we go above and beyond regulation to make a difference and take on non-billable expenses. We have a capital project that we would like to expand our second story at my building to offer more day program services. We would have to put that on hold, the elevator to get upstairs. Just to make the council aware, we have not increased our millage rate in 10 years. We've only decreased it. We've actually lost the voter-approved maximum of 2 mills because we haven't rolled forward. That's now 1.9. We're good stewards of the money we receive. We receive clean audits every year. The auditor made the comment at our last meeting that we are the most organized, transparent, and efficient nonprofit that he has ever audited. We have an 18-member board and a 6-member finance committee that thoroughly review our financials every month, as well as present to the parish council. As I said in the letter that I sent last meeting to the chairman and the council, we understand the need for conversations to take place due to questions around the 2024 tax roll, and we will ultimately be team players, but I'm glad to have a chance to explain the impact. Thank you.
Both. And look, 2 fantastic agencies that provide exceptional services that are much needed in St. Tammany Parish. for me, you have the program, the system has worked. You have more than justified why you need to be at the 1.69. I do know we have some council members that would like to speak. Mr. Phillips?
Yeah, just a couple things. I think it was the last meeting we asked through a resolution for all agencies to look at reducing their millage. Now we're asking Stark and Coast, and we're looking to reduce the drainage, but then, and I guess it's going to come up in a little bit, raising for animal services their millage. Now, for us to reduce drainage, we're saying we have excess money for drainage that really should be being spent to solve some of the drainage problems. So I definitely, for the representative of District 5, would not vote for to reduce the drainage millage. We have, on the other hand, for both the drainage, the animal services, and the coast and Stark, from the administration, they actually want to raise everything. Then during the last meeting, we also had a discussion about the assessment from last year, if that needs to be readjusted or whatever. To me, it looks like everything is in turmoil right now, and what I would recommend is everything just stays status quo until we get this thing to level out, because I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to ask for people to reduce, to increase this one, take away from this one. And from what I understand, drainage is going to be asked to be reduced more. So just from my standpoint, I think everything should just stay the same. I wouldn't raise, I wouldn't lower any of the millages that we're talking about as far as animal services, drainage, Stark, and coast.
Thank you very much, Mr. Phillips. Mr. Kugel?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had some questions too, just real quick. Ma'am, I'm sorry. You represent Coast, right? Yes. So you guys, some of the services you provide is medical transport, I'm sorry.
We do offer transportation. We are the provider for Star Transit for the parish.
Okay.
And I
to get
have
their medicine and stuff?
We will take folks to doctor's appointments, dialysis, things like that. But it may also be folks that don't have other transportation. They may need to go to the grocery store. It could be that level. And last year we provided 43,000 rides, 22,000 for Coast clients. We also provide transportation for Stark. We did 11,000 for Stark clients, and the rest was the general population.
And also you, at some of these senior centers, like the one in Pearl River, my district, you provide the meals for the seniors.
We do, and the cost of that, unfortunately, is increasing as well. But we have 8 activity centers. Pearl River is.
So just to be clear, you provide, seniors go to these community centers, a lot of times seniors that may not have enough money, and they get, I guess, lunch, free lunch, any day, Monday through Friday.
Right, Monday through Friday. We are able to supplement in some areas. We have some churches that will bring food to help seniors get through weekends when we're closed. The Abbey at St. Benedict's, they supply bread. So we're able to help a lot of folks that way.
And so on that, would either of these programs be impacted?
Yes, we would. We have budgeted. Our budget went before our finance committee on Monday and was approved to go forward. It will be reviewed at our board meeting tomorrow. We've budgeted a reduction of 23,000 meals next year.
Okay, thank you. So that's all I had for you.
Okay.
I have to agree with my colleague, Mr. Phillips. This seems to be targeting the services of the most vulnerable in our community, specifically the elderly and those with special needs. I have to agree with Mr. Phillips on this. I just can't support this.
Mr. Bender?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to first ask Ms. Emily a question. Emily, I'm not saying this would affect how I'll vote, but these are, drainage and Coast and Stark are under the same ordinance for adoption, okay? So, just a question, doesn't that eliminate you're either going to vote for both of them, or you're going to vote against both of them, the way it's worded. Am I correct?
So, no. I mean, that's why we're here today at the special meeting, so that
Okay.
we can adjust these rates as necessary. So if you wanted to move forward with the rollback for drainage, but keep Stark and Coast at the rate that they received last year, which would be the 1.69, then you could do a motion to amend this ordinance just to remove the rollback for Coast and Stark. And then next month, on July 10th, when the council votes, we'll just vote on the rollback for drainage. Or
Okay.
we can adjust the millage rate anywhere from the 1.69 to the 1.60. And we can do that for drainage as well. The only thing we might have issues with, and I might look to Annie for this, is rolling forward any of those. I don't know that we've met the advertising requirements to roll forward. So right now, we're stuck with either adopting the rates that are in ordinance calendar 7883, which the council will be voting on to set the rates on the July 10th meeting, or decreasing them as is presented in 7885AA, which is on the agenda tonight, or amending it here tonight to either remove Coast and Stark from this rollback, or leaving it as is and voting on both of those rollbacks on July 10th. But we needed to do this tonight so that we can get any amendments made to be adopted by July 10th to get them to the assessor by August.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Mr. Bender, I may come back to you for that motion if you don't mind. Next is Ms. O'Brien.
Wait,
If you are interested, Ms. O'Brien still wants to speak first.
Okay,
Oh, I'm
well,
sorry, were you not finished?
no, I wasn't quite finished.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
You know, and I'm just going to say it, like the two colleagues of ours said earlier, and I'm going to question the drainage situation too, as Mr. Phillips brought it up, but I'm not going to be able to vote to reduce the millage for Coast and Stark. I want to say that I very much appreciate the way, and I'm sorry, ma'am, I forgot your name.
Amy Goodell.
Ms. Goodell, presented very, very politely, and the same thing with Mr. Bayham, okay? But the information that we're getting tonight with cutbacks, as Councilman Kugel said, on, you know, the most needy of our citizens, I just can't vote to cut back the millage for Coast and Stark. I'll refrain on drainage. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'll come back to you, Mr. Bender. We have Ms. O'Brien.
Okay, well, I'm in agreement with my colleagues. I just cannot support lowering this. I'm very familiar with Coast because of a past job I had, not as familiar with Stark, but again, being so vulnerable. But also regarding drainage, District 10 had Florida Boulevard underwater 3 times in the last 18 months. At this time, I do not have support from my district to lower anything regarding drainage. In fact, as Mr. Phillips said, I think we need to take a look at some of the projects that could possibly give more relief to our area, not lower the millage. So I cannot support either.
Mr. Laughlin, then Mr. Strickland.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I had a question for Coast. Did y'all, and take your time coming up, did y'all lose any federal funding with this year?
Not yet. We are expecting that is definitely a possibility once we get closer to the federal fiscal year. The Governor's Office of Elderly Affairs funding that I mentioned, we got a $28,000 increase in that over last year. Those are Title III funds that funnel down from the federal government.
Okay.
Through the Older Americans Act. So that one actually went up $28,000. But once we hit the federal fiscal year, we may be impacted on that. And we were also able to extend a grant. So that has helped us a little bit, but that's also in the budget.
So if you had your way, what would we be setting the millage? What would you be asking us to set the millage at?
Mark and I discussed that whenever the parish reached out to us initially, and we just didn't think it was appropriate to ask for a roll forward. So I didn't even look at that. At 1.69, I'm going to make some cuts, but not as deep as what
1.69 will leave you kind of status quo where you were last year.
As far as revenue, yes.
Yeah.
Our expenses have gone up,
yeah,
but
everything's more expensive, right?
everywhere. Insurance, yeah. So that is what we had asked for, but again, we want to be good stewards and partners, so.
Okay. And then, Mark, for the same, do y'all have any federal funding, or y'all didn't lose any funding?
No federal funding, no.
Okay.
Mainly Medicaid funding.
Gotcha. All right, thank y'all so much. So just to clarify, if we voted yes for this, we would be leaving Coast Stark the same, but reducing the drainage millage.
In order to do that, y'all need to do a motion to amend tonight to remove Coast and Stark from this ordinance, 7885, and then through 7883, the ordinance that sets all the millage rates, they will be set at 1.69.
Okay, so in order, just to make sure I understand, we would have to put a motion forward to remove Coast and Stark from this in order to keep them out of it. All right, so Chairman, you can call on me later.
Oh, you got it. We have Ms. Cadell, can I ask you one question? Just for clarification, because we thought you had a much higher fund balance. What is your cash fund balance?
Oh, cash? Give me 1 second. Brought that with me. Cash, we're at about 2 million right now. That was, I'm sorry, as of April 30th. So we ate that down a little bit in May. And again, that may not be right.
I thought it was like 600,000, I thought I saw.
We normally, that includes a $1 million emergency reserve. So
Okay, aside from the reserve.
Right. So we normally end up the year lately about last year and this year about $600,000 that we can roll over into next year. And so with that 1.6 million, 1.7 million, that's been pretty stable. We use that to get us through until that millage deposit comes in. Last year, right before we got the millage deposit, our cash, available cash on hand was about $300,000.
And so for a budget of your size, it's really a small fund balance. I mean,
Yes.
you're utilizing your revenue to provide service. You're not sitting on a ton.
No.
Mr. Strickland and then Ms. O'Brien, we have plenty more questions. 1 second.
Okay.
Mr. Strickland.
Yeah, just being in agreement with several of the other council members, I just feel that these two agencies are very critical to our parish, and I would definitely not be in support of rolling them back because I think they're handling the money and the funds that they have very appropriately.
Very well said. Ms. O'Brien?
I did forget to ask, what amount of requests do you have for food that cannot be taken care of because of funding issues? In other words, are y'all meeting 50% of the requests, 25% of the requests, 75% of the requests?
Thankfully, right now, we have no wait list on food.
Okay.
That would come next year if we have to do that. We do have wait lists on the personal care, respite, and homemaker. Homemaker is very light housekeeping for individuals who aren't able, it's, kitchen, restroom, their bedroom if they live with other people. So we have about 28 on our homemaker wait list, 11 on respite, and 15 for personal care, but no wait list on food.
Okay, that part is good to know.
The
but-
board has prioritized that over the last year, particularly home delivered meals, since they are homebound individuals.
Okay, but I know the other stuff is very important.
Right.
I've learned a lot through what went on with my mother and seeing people decline, so that's critical. I mean, some people have nobody to help them, so I understand what you're saying.
Okay, Mr. Phillips, then we have to get a motion because we do have to be out of here by 6 o'clock. We have another meeting.
I'm sorry?
No, you're up.
Oh, okay. Okay, we just got handed a piece of paper. The millage it's talking about here is 1.56 to 1.46 for drainage.
That's drainage.
yes. At the last meeting, what was it? It was 1.562. It was going to go to,
This is the same.
No, so this is the same, 1.56 to 1.46.
This is just removing Coast and Stark.
okay. Well, at the last meeting, it was supposed to be at one number, and then we were going to look at reducing it to another number. That's why I was asking that.
This is not a further reduction.
Okay. So what's the difference in the dollar amount? Can anybody answer that? I don't have the numbers in front of me. If you go from 1.56 to 1.46 on the millage, can anybody answer that?
Hold on one second. Ms. Hayes, it's
About
different, but I think it's appropriate to answer the question.
To lower it from 1.56 to 1.46 would reduce drainage funding by about $300,000 a year.
Thank you.
Okay, then the other question I have was, so that's a reduction of 300,000, but the administration originally wanted to raise it. If we raised it, what was the new number then? We'd be increasing it by how much?
About $400,000.
Okay, so we're talking at $700,000. In the council, we're saying that there's too much money in drainage, and then the administration is saying there's not enough. We got a $700,000 difference. So there's a disconnect somewhere.
Mr. Phillips.
According to the
Mr.
council,
Phillips.
we should be able to.
Can I pause you for 1 second?
Sure.
Can we act on Coast and Stark and then get into the drainage? Would that be okay with everyone?
Okay,
So we can just finish one and then we'll get into the drainage?
okay.
Okay. Do we have a motion from anybody regarding Coast and Stark?
They want to toss it off.
I don't think that, do y'all want to, Ms. Seiden and Ms. Tanner, do you want to speak about Coast and Stark or
No, I wanted to talk about drainage.
Ms. Tanner?
I just want to say one thing. When we did this,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
yes, ma'am.
When we did this last year, last time, my understanding was y'all were willing to cut it. And now I guess you've looked at it and said we can afford it. Is that what I'm hearing?
I wouldn't say.
Oh, Mr. Bayham, you got to step up to the.
I'm just asking because I thought y'all were in agreement to roll it back. Now I'm hearing something different. Is because when you looked at the numbers, you realized you could not do that?
Well, when we were asked to do it, I mean, as I said, we haven't increased. We've only decreased for the last 10 years. We always want to be team players with the council. We were asked about it. It would impact us. We would have to make cuts. I mean, so we were just saying that this is how Mr. Chairman asked me to come and explain how it would impact us. So that's what we were doing.
Okay, but my understanding was you were okay until you looked at at how much it was costing. See, I would have never put this on here if y'all were was going to object to it. That's what I'm asking is, where's the, I thought you were in agreement. If you're not now, that's fine. We'll take it off, but I'm just asking where the disconnect is.
We were notified the day before the last meeting. We said that we will do what the council decides, but it would impact us.
Okay.
And so that we were just explaining how it impacted us.
I have no problem with that,
Yes, ma'am.
and I'll be willing to change it, or whoever wants to make the motion.
We have a motion from Mr. Corbin,
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to remove Council on Aging and Stark from the reduction.
second by Mr. Laughlin. We need to vote on that, or? Yes. Okay, please vote on the amendment.
The motion is unanimous with one absent.
Okay, so just to confirm, that maintains Coast and Stark at 1.69 mils, or removes it so we can vote on it. Very good.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you all for the service that you provide to our community. Now we'll get Mr. Phillips. Let's continue back with you. You had some discussion about drainage. Or Ms. Hayes, would you like to read your statement first in regards to drainage?
Sure.
Okay. Is that?
It's on.
Okay. President Cooper was not able to be here tonight, so I just wanted to read a statement on behalf of President Cooper. President Cooper is pleased that the council has reconsidered and will no longer be rolling back the millage, thereby reducing funding to Coast and Stark. These entities play a vital role in serving our developmentally challenged and senior citizens. Thank you for reconsidering and for continuing to provide funding to these most deserving citizens. President Cooper would like to urge the council to also reconsider rolling back the drainage millage, which will reduce the funding for much-needed drainage work across the parish. All of us, administration, council, and the public know that drainage is an urgent need for our parish. While President Cooper appreciates and agrees with your overall desire to lower taxes for the public, he disagrees with removing funds for drainage in order to do it. He firmly believes that the public would agree that taking money from drainage is not the way to reduce taxes. Rolling back from 1.56 to 1.46 will decrease funding for drainage projects by approximately $300,000, but will only reduce taxes to the average taxpayer by $2.25 a year. He believes most people would happily forego the $2.25 a year for drainage projects. According to our engineering department, the funding needed for drainage projects through 2029 is $183,125,000. Assuming all of these projects move forward and no additional projects are created, the projected funding gap is $113 million. On behalf of President Cooper and the engineering department, I respectfully request that the council reconsider rolling back the drainage millage and adopt the adjusted millage. We need every dollar we can get. Thank you.
So you mean rolling up the drainage millage? Or keeping it where it is? Is that the request?
We would love to roll up the drainage millage, but we thought that that was out of the question. Now we're just trying to keep it the same. But if y'all are willing to roll it up, we'd be happy with that.
Okay, I'm going to go to Mr. Phillips. The whole board is lit up. I'm going to go to Mr. Phillips first because we left off with him, and then we'll go back in order. Mr. Phillips.
All right, in summary, I'm not in favor of rolling back the drainage. The difference between wanting to roll it up and reducing it would be $700,000. And if we just roll it back without talking about the roll-up, we're losing $300,000. And I know $300,000 in District 5 would go a long way. So I'm totally against reducing the drainage millage. Thank you.
Next is Ms. Seiden.
Oh, thank you. I guess it was my understanding that there was a $5 million fund balance in drainage. So I'm going to ask Annie about that. And we were just trying to give people some relief this year. So can you explain that?
Am I on? Okay. I did not confirm that there was $5 million. I said that there was.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
My understanding, but that's why I wanted to ask you.
I said there was a sizable fund balance. So, according to the report that I handed out earlier today for the financial statements, there's a projected available fund balance of almost $3 million in drainage funds at the end of 2025. So that's what would be available to fund any capital projects for fiscal year 2025.
On top of whatever taxes that you receive that year. I mean, that's
no, that's after whatever we receive this year. So if we're only going to, the $3 million is based on what the potential levy would have been. So if we're reducing it by $300,000, then it would be $300,000 less than that. So it'd be $2.7 million.
Okay, and do we have a list of all the capital projects being
it would be available in the operating and budget book, which is available online, but we can get you it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, next we have Mr. Laughlin.
Yeah, I have a question for Ms. Hayes. Well, I actually have two questions, but my first one was I was confused by the first part of Parish President Cooper's. He seems to be clairvoyant.
Yeah.
So
could you clarify that?
Yes, I will clarify that. I adjusted it, what it was supposed to say after you voted.
Okay.
It was supposed to say is pleased that the council is reconsidering, but I changed it after you voted. So.
Gotcha. Okay, so my question for Ms. Hayes / Annie, whoever's needs. So the fund balance that we have is a projected fund balance of what you think we will collect at the end of this tax year if the millage were to stay at 1.56. Is that correct? That's not cash we have in the bank right now that we haven't spent.
No, the number.
Yeah.
Katrina.
The number I gave you is not cash in the bank as of today. I can, because I'm giving you the number based on what we intend to spend during the year as well. So I'm giving you a budgetary figure because I know what the intended expenditures are for the year. So I don't want to tell you what cash is today because that number is going to change within the next few weeks to months based on what we transfer to capital, the light bills that are coming due, the things that are like that. So I'm giving you the budgetary figure based on what we budgeted for revenues and the expenditures that will come due throughout the fiscal year. And that is based on what we estimated for revenue based on what the millage would have been for this fiscal year.
All right, let me ask that a different way.
Yes.
At the end of the year, do you expect we're going to have the fund balance of $3 million?
That's what the budgeted fund balance would have been, yes.
Okay.
Based on 1.56
And if we
mils.
vote to reduce this, like as proposed, it would be 2.7 million.
Yes.
roughly.
Yes. We would
Gotcha.
need to
So
come in and,
we're projecting what our bank balance will be in our checking account for this, I'm making it simple, in December, at the end of the year,
yes, yes. And
once we've
so
collected the property tax.
the budget for 2025 is based on, we did it a year ago in the middle of 2024 based on the factors known at that time. So at that time, we based it on assuming that millages would stay constant.
Gotcha.
So at that time, we said, okay, it'll be 1.56. So when we go through this process during the year, when we know what it will be, we either have to amend the budget if we roll forward millages, or we will amend the budget down if we roll them down. So based on this, we may have to have a budget amendment after the fact.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Tanner.
I think my question is, how much has been moved to capital projects, and what is our list and amount of capital projects for drainage right now that don't we have a massive list that is funded that we cannot get to?
I can't speak on whether or not we can get to projects. I know that we have millions of dollars in projects that are actively going on in drainage. This year, the projects budgeted for capital were probably in the $5 million range to be used from the drainage ad valorem tax.
But I think there's a balance in the capital drainage that we have approved projects. The money's been moved over to there. We're just waiting for these projects to be complete, right?
Yes.
But
Yes.
we don't know what that amount is. It could be 5, 8 million, 10 million. We don't know.
I can't tell you off the top of my head. I'd have to get into the files and find it for you, but I can do that.
Okay. And this was based on that. I think we have a lot of capital projects that's been approved and money has been moved into capital, but it's a matter of timing of getting the work done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Annie, I have a question. Can we not use our 2-cent sales tax for drainage projects as well?
Yes, you can.
Are you familiar with the fund balance in that?
So flipping to the report, our current fund balance projected for fiscal year 2025 in Sales Tax District 3 is $21 million.
Have we ever had a year where we were below a $10 million fund balance in the last 5?
No.
Or $5 million? No, not even
No.
below 10?
No.
Thank you. For me, how are we asking people to tighten their belt straps if we're not willing to tighten our own? I've never seen an agency that's not needing money. I think this is a minimal decrease. Mr. Kugel?
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure I understand something. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know part of the reason we were looking at these reductions were we're going to offset the increase in animal services. So if we're now removing Coast and Stark from that, wouldn't the drainage even be lower? Or does that?
I think that would be something that could be considered. However, to me, I think we've heard a need tonight of removing boats, and I believe it is appropriate for the drainage fund to be used to remove boats, as they could be potentially blocking drainage ways. So maybe, so we don't have to ask for more money to fund a different projects, we can utilize existing funds to do something important to the community. But that is certainly an option to change it.
No, what I mean is, I just want to make sure I understand. So I think we were looking originally at Coast Stark drainage for reduction and animal services at increase. Was part of the reason because we were going to, the reduction would offset?
For me, I don't think it was to offset. For me, I think it, and I'm sorry, Mr. Town, I'll let you go. For me, I think it was, we know the animal services in dire needs of funds. They're constantly having issues being under Mayday, I think it's called. They're struggling. They only get 1 mil, and they provide a huge service. So they were in a situation where they had to have the revenue to function. Where we know, we just heard, we have not had less than a $10 million a year fund balance in our 2-cent sales tax in the last 5 years. We're talking about $300,000. So I really kind of struggle to wonder what we're even talking about.
Thanks.
Mr. Bender.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Annie, if we left the current 1.56 the same, am I correct in that at the end of this year, this calendar year, you believe we would have about a $3 million fund balance?
Am I still on? Yes. Yes. Now that is assuming that we don't authorize any other projects for drainage during the year, or authorize any other expenditures, come back to the council for other things that would amend the fund balance.
Mm-hmm. If we lower it to 1.46, then that number goes down, if everything stays the same for the most part, to $2.7 million.
Yes, sir.
So here's my question. As our Director of Finance, what is a healthy fund balance for that drainage department?
So,
at the end of the year, what is a healthy number to consider? I mean, is 1 million a healthy number, or is 3 million a healthy number, or is 2.7 million a healthy number?
So the consideration for fund balance is that we need to have enough cash to cover the expenses, and we have done that. So this is the what's available after our minimum fund balance requirements are met. So we have done that. So this is available after those minimum fund balance requirements. So this is something on top of that. So really what we would need now are the things that we would need in case we have projects come up. We need funds for uncertainties and contingencies, things that we want to undertake that are not in the normal course and scope of our work, that maybe opportunities for us that we don't normally encounter, such as when we had with the interstates and the widening come up, and we needed money for those things that weren't in the normal thing of us having funds available for them. So in this course and scope, I can't give you an exact number because it's more of an engineering kind of thing, because from a financial perspective, we're covered. We've got our cash covered. We have enough to cover us on an operational perspective. So we're fine from a financial and operational perspective. So for me, it's more of a, what do we need from a capital perspective in case we want things, want funding to the side to cover us from potential capital improvements that we need funding for. Now, I know that we have hundreds of millions of dollars of things that we would like to do. So the millage doesn't bring in that much money. So to me, every dollar is important in this fund. And I would think that we want to get what we can, not at the risk of the taxpayers though, but I don't know that from a financial perspective, I can give you a good answer as to what is the minimum fund balance you need there once cash and operational expenses are covered.
Okay, and as a follow-up, excuse me, you said a little bit earlier that this 2.7 million or the 3 million, whichever one of those two it becomes, is in excess of your minimum fund balance.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you're covered from a good financial standpoint, whether
Yes, sir.
we go to 2.7 or 3 million.
Yes.
Okay. I kind of feel like Mr. Impastato on this. And as I recall, we would talk to, by the administration, and this isn't a knock on the administration, by the way, that animal services needed an increase. And my understanding is that this would help to offset that and not raise taxes overall on the citizens by letting animal services take a little bit of an increase and this a little bit of a decrease. Does any other colleague remember that?
That has come up. It's not the only reason to do
No.
it, but it has come up and it does help. And two other things to point out.
Yeah.
One, when people don't pay these taxes, they do get to keep the money. The other thing is during this 4-year cycle, we have to roll forward at one point.
Right.
So we can't preserve our maximum without doing that. So at some point, we're going to have to roll it all the way forward. So I think trying to be good stewards, as conservative as possible as we can with people's money, this is a good thing to do, in my opinion.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Phillips.
Okay, a couple questions. Number one, we met with different parts of the administration about how much money each district can spend for our projects for the upcoming year, for example, and we did it last year also. So we're told basically we can only spend so much money. Now, the way I'm understanding this is there's extra money that I could possibly have had for District 5 for other projects. Am I correct in that assumption? So we sit down, we go over all the projects, a project list for the district, and they said, this is what we recommend, and this is going to use up all your money for the district for the year. But I know I could have spent a lot more. I could have doubled, tripled that amount of money. So now this fund balance, is that where that could have been used for this?
This fund is not part of that calculation.
Okay. So now another question. Jeff, remember the roundabout at Judge Tanner? We pulled $4 million away from that to help with the budget last year. So was that part of that fund? And I know we're going to do another traffic study to see if that roundabout's needed, but I'm just wondering, we pulled $4 million from District 5. Was that part of that funding? With this fund balance, same fund?
No, this is drainage.
Okay, okay, so I just don't understand how everybody complains about drainage all over the parish, and now we're going to take money away from drainage. I just don't get it. We're going to take a whole mill off of them. The administration wanted to raise it. We want to lower it. I'm trying to find out where the disconnect is here. You know, why would they have wanted to raise the millage before to the max?
Okay. Ms. Tanner and Mr. Laughlin.
Okay, let me explain something. There is a lot of capital drainage projects that have been budgeted that's out there that we're waiting for completion. There's too many out there. They can't get them done in time. So on that fact, we said if we roll it back this year, we're given a break because we don't need to go out there and do professional service or engineering when they're going to sit there for 2 or 3 years. So we give drainage a break. We roll it up next year because we have to. And the taxpayers get a little bit of a break in it if we can, because the fund balance is there, everything has been paid, and we're good. Okay? But that's up to you. But there is a lot of capital drainage that has been budgeted that we're waiting the projects to be complete.
Okay, so can I continue to talk?
Press your button. Press your button. Press your button, Mr. Phillips. Yes, you, then Mr. Laughlin, and Ms. Sodden, and we really need to move on unless somebody has a motion. We're on a time limit tonight, and we have a lot of firemen that want to kill me.
So after this, we're going to raise the millage for animal services, correct?
We've already done that.
Oh, we already done it.
It's all
Okay.
going to be on the July agenda.
Well, it'll be on the July agenda. We have introduced it.
Correct.
Okay, so now I have a question for Rob on the animal services. He says on his paper, I was going to ask him when I saw him, but he's not here now. He covers basically the whole parish, even.
Yeah, we probably should wait till the next meeting to discuss that more.
Well, by the next meeting, drainage has been reduced.
No,
No? Okay, all right.
Okay, Mr. Laughlin, then we're going to have to entertain a motion. Or no motion, or move on, unless there is a motion somebody would like to make.
I would like to make a motion at this time that we move on this proposal that was just handed to us.
Okay, and there's no, we don't have to do anything with it.
Right.
So,
That's leaving it at to introduce it and leave it at 1.46.
is that right, Emily?
Yes.
But with nothing separate with drainage.
Yeah.
This is going to be up for a vote on July 10th.
Gotcha.
You need to introduce it as amended, correct?
You can introduce as amended.
That's what I'd like to do. Introduce it as amended.
Motion by Mr. Laughlin, second by Ms. Tanner. The motion is introduced as amended. Okay, now moving on. Resolutions. Resolution to vacate in part the moratorium originally established by Ordinance Council Series Number 22-4979 on receipt of submissions to the Planning and Zoning Commission for the re-subdivision or rezoning of certain properties and/or the issuance of permits by the Parish Department of Planning Development permits for the construction or placement of certain building structures on property in the area bounded by 11th Street, Harrison Avenue, Highway 59, Fire Tower Road, 5th Avenue, and Hellenberg Road, specifically the property bearing the municipal address of 21454 Parker Drive, Mandeville, Louisiana, District 5. Mr. Phillips.
This particular parcel is being,
Speaker on this.
it's under a moratorium,
Mr. Phillips,
and it-
1 second. I didn't realize we have a speaker. Ms. Jamie Segura.
I actually came here tonight to oppose that, but I spoke to legal counsel and the couple, and I understand better, so I withdraw my opposition.
Well,
and-
thank you.
Well, you know.
Mr. Phillips, please proceed,
I
sir.
don't do that often.
That's a fact.
and just for clarification, the lot is in an area of special concern up in the Hellenberg Road area. It's also under a moratorium. They've actually did their plans for the house, which would meet the requirements of an area of special concern to build there. So we're going to release the moratorium so they can go ahead and continue. And the reason for the special meeting was it would be 2 weeks till the regular meeting, and we didn't want them to lose 2 weeks towards construction. So that's what we'd like to do. Thank you.
Motion, Mr. Phillips?
Yes.
Second, Ms. Caswell, please vote on the resolution. Then on to our last item, which we have 7 minutes.
Make sure everybody votes.
Please vote.
The motion is unanimous with 1 absent.
Okay, number 2 is Resolution Council Series Number C-17138, Resolution to amend Resolution C-7080 to institute a partnership between the St. Tammany Parish Council and the District Attorney of the 22nd Judicial Court to provide assistance for budget process for all departments, offices, and agencies receiving funding from St. Tammany Parish government and agencies. The council approves ballot items for which shall be called the Transparency and Resource Accountability Committee. So we need a motion. We have a lot of speakers. And while you're coming up, I'm going to explain this. The first speaker is Jamie Segura again. Is this a mistake?
Nope.
Okay, come on up.
Good evening, everyone. I have to ask, is there suspicion of wrongdoing on the part of any department, agency, or office currently under the jurisdiction of the St. Tammany Council?
No, ma'am. I can answer that question.
Entering into a partnership with the 22nd Judicial District Attorney to, quote, provide assistance for the budget process implies wrongdoing. The District Attorney is not a government efficiency expert. He's not a CPA, as far as I've heard, nor is he a business manager. And how much is his office going to be paid to do this? out of the kindness of his heart, he's going to take away from his very overworked staff to do this. He's the chief prosecutor of the judicial district. To have him rummaging through budgets of other parish entities in an attempt to find funds for the DA's office. This is a thinly veiled attempt for him to treasure hunt and possibly intimidate those agencies. Perhaps the parish council might best look for a professional, licensed independent auditor to conduct this work, not the district attorney. It's very disingenuous for a man who campaigned saying, I don't need any money, and the minute he got in office was complaining he needed more money, to be the person you're going to allow to do efficiency work.
Ms. Segura, I don't think that's fair to say because he hasn't asked for more money, but you can go ahead and proceed.
I was at a
He said he needed
meeting,
his
he
budget.
did say he was going to need more money to keep qualified assistant district attorneys
I
here.
think there's just a confusion, but proceed,
Okay,
please.
so he's confused. I know
No.
what I heard. So the bottom line is, this is the wrong person, the wrong office to use in this way. And it's going to come back to bite somebody, because if something happens and there is a problem in an agency, then the entire district attorney's office is then has to remove itself from doing an investigation.
Thank you, Mr. Gore. While you're coming up, I want to describe TRAC briefly. Number one, it was created by the Parish Council to help and assist the Parish Council in making decisions, to help us be more transparent, to help us understand things that we're voting on, to help us make decisions like the resolution that we're going to bring to the TRAC committee to talk about asking the legislature to get back in front of the voters the ability to preserve your maximum millage rate without having to roll forward during the 4-year cycle. To look at even agencies like the mosquito district and make sure you're operating as efficiently as possible when we, the council, has to vote to put your millage on the ballot to the taxpayers, so we can feel comfortable that the people who elect us to make sure, yes, this is the right amount for this millage. To look at various other things internally, our own efficiencies, to just try to do a better job and be more conservative with people's tax dollars. That is it. That's it. It's not some crazy thing. We're just trying to do a better job. We're trying to provide council members with more information so they can make cleaner, better decisions, so we can tell our constituents what we're doing. People say all the time we're overtaxed, we pay too many dollars in taxes. Quite often I feel like when we look at animal services, you will see that maybe they even need more money. And we're here to help. How can maybe TRAC get other experts from the public to help give us assistance and information to maybe operate a little bit more efficiently? So it's a really good thing. It brings a lot of positive to the table. And we do have some other speakers. So you have Mr. J.P. Taylor. Please state your name, and you have 3 minutes.
Hey, sir, how you doing? Actually, I would ask to listen to what you guys have to say about TRAC first, and then reserve that comment for later, if I could.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I was being...
No. So I want you to go ahead and spell out what you want TRAC to be. Let you have your discussion amongst your members, and we'll reserve our time to speak afterwards, if that would be good.
It's not good. You have to speak. You have your 3 minutes now.
Well, you come on. I'm a relinquish to Chief Hess for Fire District 2.
Okay. Please. Just state your name, and you have 3 minutes.
My name's Randy Hess. I'm the Fire Chief of St. Tammany Fire District 2. I'm also the Vice President of Fire Chiefs Association. I don't think, I don't know how to follow that up. That was wonderfully said, and I think that's what we all feel at the moment. We talk about transparency. It's in the title of the organization that y'all are starting. In the matter of transparency, we just found out about this meeting last night. So I don't know where the transparency is in this. We're off to a roaring start here. We all, as fire districts, and I'm sure it's the same for other taxing bodies, we all go through, we have several months of budget hearings. We have to advertise our budgets, hold public hearings. I just don't understand the oversight when it comes to the budget.
Chief Hess, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
And I'll pause you 3 minutes. So if we have to vote for a millage for your department, is there a problem with this council looking at your budget?
No, sir. I have
That's
a
what track
problem
is.
with you coming into my district. I don't have a problem if you come in tomorrow.
Okay.
I don't understand it. You have that authority now. Why do we need to create a resolution? And my biggest problem
Well,
with
the resolution is just to create the committee that will do the work, that will help get the information to the council. If you don't have a problem with that, I don't think you have a problem with track.
Okay, so, well, I'm getting to that. My biggest problem is, what are the boundaries of track? I'm not going to be the fire chief forever. You guys aren't going to be on the council forever. There's no clear boundaries on what their job is going to be. I mean, I can support the resolution if I know what I'm dealing with. And that's the problem with a lot of legislation from even at the state level. The cancer bill, they create a great bill for us to have cancer screenings. We don't know what to do with it. I mean, we're struggling to get clarification because we don't know what to do with it. And that's what I think this resolution, if we put boundaries in it and figured out what the rules are and what we're going to be and what whoever is on this committee is going to be, then I think we can get on board with this. But right now, it's a loosely veiled, you know, it has the potential to go south really quick, just what Mr. Gura just said.
But I thought it was clear, like, it's no more authority than we currently have. It's just a team of people that would be doing it, in the team of council members that would be doing it.
I understand.
It doesn't give us actually, it's only
your
advisory.
intentions. I think your intentions are good. I have no problem
But it
with
has no power.
transparency. But when you throw the DA in, it does. And look, if we remove the DA, I don't think anybody has a problem with this. We can. That's the biggest sticking point. It's no secret that he needs money, and to have somebody looking over our books, forensically, whatever we're going to call it, he could potentially smear us just because he can, and our reputation to our constituents is done. And that's the problem I think we have as fire chiefs, and I'm sure the other organizations. If we remove the DA, I don't think anybody's going to have a problem with this. I don't have no problem with anybody coming into my district, as I'm sure any other fire chief.
I want to read the DA's role. Emily, where's that location where it specifically outlines his role? Because that's one of the reasons we redid the resolution, to define that specifically.
And I'm not speaking on behalf of the DA, I'm just reading from the resolution. It says, whereas the district attorney will not be a member of the track committee for the purpose of making formal recommendations to the parish council, the partnership role with the district attorney is limited to the district attorney and/or members of his staff providing resources on an as-needed basis to advise, investigate, collect data, and conduct analysis.
Okay, so take the DA out the equation, take Colin Sims out the equation, but his people are still looking for faults in our district.
So you'd prefer it be somebody else looking for faults if in fact that happened?
I'd prefer another getting independent, audited independently, just like we do twice a year with through the legislative auditor.
So you have a problem with the district attorney looking at your budget?
No, I have a problem.
That's what you said.
No. You're putting words in my mouth.
I'm sorry.
I have no one looking at my budget.
You said take the DA out of it, so that's what I'm trying to understand.
Because he's trying to create funding for himself by smearing organizations.
I don't think that's fair to say.
It is fair to say. If you take the DA, I don't think you have any problem. I mean, I'm just saying.
I think that's your opinion, and I think that's something you should probably take up with the district attorney, but you can proceed with the rest of your time.
Well, that's the biggest issue I have. It's the conflict of interest. And the lack of boundaries, and that's all I have. And thank you for your time.
Next is Ms. Jennifer Goings. We have speakers. Can we please get through the speakers? Let's not change the rules every time. Ms. Goins, you have your 3 minutes, and then we'll go to the council.
Okay. My name is Jennifer Goins. I'm with Recreation District 12 in Folsom. I am not with the fire department. However, I feel the same as the guy that just went before me. And I'm not trying to be combative with anybody, but I don't know why y'all are asking for another government agency in our parish to advise us on our budgets. I have been in my position for a very long time. I have to submit a budget to the board every year for approval. A board that you guys appoint. Y'all appoint all of the boards to everybody here.
I'm just going to correct you real quick. It's not another government agency. It is an advisory committee to the council.
Okay.
Please.
But the
Proceed.
DA's office is another government agency, am I correct?
That represents the council, and that would just give us...
All right, well, I'm not
Ms.
splitting hairs
Kubion
over
just said.
that. I'm just saying, you guys appoint our boards. Our boards hire us as leaders, directors, fire chiefs, whatever. We give them a budget, they approve it. We already have 2 audits a year. I don't know if you know it, but we have a regular audit and we have a forensic audit that the state requires. So why on earth are we going to have a third one by somebody in our own parish?
But
If
we're
you
not
don't like
saying
the
we're gonna
audits,
audit.
that's what one of them said earlier. How one of them was worded? Okay, here's the thing. You changed a lot of wording from the first resolution to the second one. You took out the year for one. So that enabled you guys to not just leave this as a 2026 thing. This gives y'all open-ended to do this every year. Okay. I don't need you guys advising me on my budget. Y'all have no earthly idea what it costs to operate a recreation district, and I would be very shocked if you knew how to operate a fire district. So I just have a problem, like Mr. Hess, that y'all are asking another agency. I would almost be more okay if it was the finance department of the parish doing this than the DA's office.
Well,
because
they would also be advising us, but we didn't have to put that in the resolution.
Okay, well, I don't know if the DA's office already has all these accountants in their office, but if they do, and they're going to start working on all of our budgets or advising us on our budgets, I don't know who's going to do the work they've been doing. Because there's quite a few taxing bodies in the parish, and if they're going to start helping us and digging into our stuff, then I don't know what they've been doing, because that's going to take up an awful lot of time.
Okay.
So I'm with him. I just don't see what the DA's office has to do with this. I don't have anything against Colin Sims. I don't know the man. I've met him twice, have no clue anything about him. So it's not anything personal. I just don't understand why the DA's office is going to start advising us, other districts in this parish, on our budgets when we've been doing it all this time. If we were doing anything wrong, the legislative auditor would get us real quick. I can guarantee you that. So I just don't understand why. If this is something that you already have authority to do, I don't know why you're making a resolution.
The resolution was just to create the
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand. If it's already in place, why are you doing
well,
it?
but then the question is, well, to create a committee, that's why, through the resolution, and the situation would come up when you have to do a new millage, we have to vote on that millage. Is there an issue with us understanding your numbers and
well, if you already
your
have the ability to ask me about my millage, I don't see what making a committee
This committee just simply looks at it and tries to understand it better. The district attorney's office is going to assist. I just think people are worked up for nothing.
No, I'm not worked up about anything. I just don't understand. No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm just saying I don't understand why the DA's office is even involved in advising us. And I noticed y'all took out the word expert too in all of these, advising all of us. Because I don't think they have an expert in their office that can advise any of us on what we do.
Well, they're not advising you, they're advising us.
Well, I don't care. They can't advise anybody if they don't know what we do.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Mr. Kevin Calloway, my guy. You have 3 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Please state your name again for the record.
Sure. Good evening. My name is Dr. Kevin Calloway. I am the Executive Director for St. Tammany Parish Mosquito Abatement. We appreciate your concern for efficient government operations for the benefit of the public that we all serve. Despite not having been included on the original track resolution, Mosquito Abatement District appears to have been its first target. Though we welcome your impartial review and as we are proud to demonstrate to you and our public the scientific approach and our fiscally responsible approach to protecting our community. Our concern regarding the expansion of the scope of track to include all agencies that council approves ballots for is specifically the district attorney's office involvement and his motivation. There are 3 reasons for concern regarding the DA's involvement. Number 1 is a predetermined outcome. Given Mr. Sims' own words in public for over a 2-year period now, Mr. Sims has referred to mosquito abatement and the other independent taxing districts as fiefdoms and kingdoms, and has openly advocated for their dissolution to fund other offices at the parish's discretion. His office's involvement in a forensic audit, his words, has a predetermined outcome and aim. Number 2, the district attorney's office involvement is unethical. As the legal representative for all of these public agencies and the council, we are the DA's clients. It's unethical for a lawyer to mischaracterize their client's public service as a fiefdom and wasteful, and to perform a forensic audit investigation of their client without suspicion or evidence of wrongdoing. And finally, number 3, the district attorney's office is not qualified to provide budget assistance to public services that are based on our own industry's best practices. Does the DA's office know which species of mosquito transmits West Nile virus, or how to efficiently mitigate the risk to our residents? Does the DA's office understand the myriads of options required to purchase a fire truck, or the services how to run a recreation district? The dedicated taxes are direct public services that our residents have voted for specifically so that they know the services they're going to get for their tax dollars without political influence. To characterize these services and agencies as anything else, particularly for political or funding motivations, is to take away power from our voters directly. All public agencies already undergo impartial audits and enhanced testing procedures by independently hired accounting firms. We are calling on the council to deny this modified resolution, as all dedicated taxes have appointed boards whose sworn duty it is to ensure that taxpayers are served to the intent of the tax. Finally, I'd like to voice my support for the call for an independent inspector general's office to ensure impartial reviews so that the critical public services are not maligned or jeopardized, and that the public can trust these outcomes.
Thank you, Mr. Kayuek. We have Mr. Uhak. Stand by. Please proceed, Mr. Uhak. You have 3 minutes. And we won't start until we can hear you. No, we cannot hear you. They're working on it.
I'll get it and read it. He's chatting.
think it's also important that we did have an amended option of this resolution ready, and I think we should read it before we get the council comments, if that would be okay with the council. Do we have that ready? And we have Mr. Uhack's comments?
Yes.
Apologies for the IT difficulties. I just wanted to say that I oppose this resolution regarding the DA's office engagement for budget matters related to parish agencies. I echo, I believe, the numerous professionals and speakers that have spoke. What I've heard is they've raised, it sounds like substantial concerns that I believe the council should consider in rejecting and or at least postponing vote on this resolution so it can be understood better and potentially have additional amendments to make it more favorable for the stakeholders that have raised concerns today. I'll pause there if any questions.
Were there any questions? Thank you, Mr. Uhack, for your comments. Okay, can you read the amended? Jeff could read, that's fine. Whoever prefers.
Okay, there was an amended version that has been offered since the published agenda went out. And it would, at the title, change the word partnership to collaboration. So it'd be a resolution to amend Resolution C-7080 to institute a collaboration between the St. Tammany Parish Council and the District Attorney of the 22nd Judicial Court. And it would go on to say in the first whereas section, whereas the St. Tammany Parish Council approves the parish budget each year, which includes the operations of parish administrative departments and pass-through agencies in addition to parish government, allocates parish funds to local and state agencies, and cross through the language that says, as well as the coroner's office, jail operations, library, Coast Stark, 22nd Judicial District Court, assessor's office, clerk of court, and the district attorney of the 22nd JDC. It would eliminate the third whereas that's in the published version, and in the seventh whereas, it would change that language to, whereas the district attorney will not be a member of the track committee for the purpose of making formal observations to the parish council, and I'm just going to correct the spelling of council too. The partnership role with the district attorney is limited to the district attorney and or members of his staff providing resources on an as-needed basis to gather information, conduct interviews, collect data, perform analysis, and document observations and or findings for the council to review and consider. And then in the therefore resolves paragraph, it changes the word partnership to collaboration. So if you all want to move forward with the revised version, you need to make a motion to amend, vote on the motion to amend, and then vote on the resolution itself.
Have the people in the audience had a chance to see the revised version?
No, just now.
I heard you. Well, then maybe it would be appropriate to postpone it.
I make the motion to postpone.
Okay. Motion to postpone, second by Ms. Seiden, because we do want to make sure everybody sees the revised version before we move on this. What, Mr. Gore? What could you possibly be upset about?
Change if the objections, everyone had.
You have to step into the mic. It's been postponed.
Well, whether it's postponed or not, unless you postpone Colin Sims and the district attorney, then this is all a moot point. New resolutions and stuff like that.
Thank you. The whole thing has been postponed. There's a motion to second. Please vote.
Postponed to when? What's the whole motion?
The motion will be to postpone until the August meeting because we cannot get it on the agenda for the July meeting. So the next available meeting where we can publish it.
Thanks for the clarification.
We have a motion to second. Please vote.
The motion is unanimous with 2 absent.
Okay, a motion to adjourn?
So moved.